Money is useless until it is used. $1 billion or 1 billion friends. Which would you take? You don't need money, dude. You need people. People have the next money you want. We're told this as little kids. Don't show off. If you get too big, you're gonna get attacked. Nobody's telling us, get so big that no attack can bother you. You should put money in the marketing. You should promote yourself, not put money where you and the kids live. A house does not make you money. Promote, promote, promote. If I die today, Elena and the kids will not have to worry about money. 2008, all I had to worry about was money. I had a $60 million lawsuit hit me. I felt like a traitor, like a loser. My life was unmanageable, but I wasn't powerless. I'm a spiritual being, having a human experience. I know there's something I get to come back to. You can't kill me. I'm immortal.
For you, it's all what gives you your strength and impact and motivation.
It's my spiritual development first. It's more important than the money, the marriage, or the kids.
But you couldn't build this empire without Elena.
Without a doubt. People need anchors. Look at me now. I've always wanted to help people. I've always wanted people to help me. I want to create heaven on earth. We're all on one planet. We're all one face.
They say that the human race is doomed, that we have lost touch with our true nature, that the media has corrupted us, and that the planet has no future. I disagree. I believe that humanity is full of hope, and that our salvation lies within each one of us. My name is Brian Rose, and my job is to listen, the oldest method of learning known to man. Each week I seek out individuals that are changing the world, people who are living and thinking in a different way. Their stories will challenge your beliefs, make you question your choices, and perhaps inspire you to change. I never planned on doing any of this, but now I can't stop. Join me on this mission and make humanity something we can all be proud of.
I'll be honest, at first, I didn't like Grant Cardone. His jets, his cars, his bling, his pow, it was a little too much for me, and I thought he was a very two-dimensional dude. But once I sat down with him for the first time on London Real, I saw a lot more. I saw a spiritual guy, a guy that's constantly pushing himself, a guy that's fighting his own demons. And the first interview with him was amazing, but this second one, we went really, really deep on who Grant is, why he's the man he is, all about his wife Elena, his kids, his business, always going into his demons, and why he really tries to 10x his life every single day. We went into his religion and his past and why he is a spiritual being trying to get to the next level. I know you're gonna love this. This is the greatest interview that's ever been done with Grant, and I expect this to be one of many to come. Him and Elena came to our studio, they took it over. Grant took over my Instagram. He changed my Instagram name. And I hope to be hanging out with these folks for a long time to come. And inside London Real Academy, we are building our own empire, teaching people how to start their own businesses from scratch, putting people on the TED stage and getting people to broadcast themselves and create their own podcasts. Here's a bit more about the great work that we do.
London Real!
What's up,
London
baby?
Real!
London Real doesn't stop when the conversation ends. You see, that's when we get started. Because everything begins with a thought, and then comes the action. The London Real Academy is our global transformation platform. Here we bring together thousands of students from over 75 countries. Whether you want to build a profitable business from your passion, or learn to speak to inspire, or broadcast yourself with your very own podcast, or accelerate your life to become a high-performance person, we have the online accountability course and personal mentoring program that will make your dream a reality. Join us, and we'll take your life to the next level, together. Our next accelerator course is starting soon.
This is London Real. I am Brian Rose. My guest today is Grant Cardone, the New York Times bestselling author, sales training expert, investor, and motivational speaker on the topics of leadership, real estate investing, entrepreneurship, and social media. Originally from Louisiana, you started from nothing and now have 5 privately held companies with annual revenues exceeding $150 million and a real estate portfolio of nearly $1 billion. Last year, Forbes magazine named you #1 of the 25 marketing influencers to watch, and you're the author of 5 books, including Sell or Be Sold, Be Obsessed or Be Average, The 10X Rule, and If You're Not First, You're Last. I've actually read them all. Grant, welcome back to
And
London
the
Real.
Millionaire Booklet.
And the Millionaire Booklet.
And How to Create Wealth Investing in Real Estate. I wrote that book since I left here.
You're always writing books. Welcome back.
Hey, great to be here. Dude, best interview I've ever done was with you.
I know, no pressure on this one.
So I'm going to give you I don't know why you have me back. I'm like, well, what else are you going to get from me?
Oh, there's lots of stuff.
Okay,
Right? We didn't
okay.
get enough last time.
All
First
right.
of all, what are you doing back in London so soon? It's been
We're
6
doing
months.
a 10X UK tour. A group said, hey, can you come here? We've had a lot of requests to come back here and do bigger events. So I just finished doing 1,600 people, 2-day event, really deep dive on sales, marketing, things that we're doing with our companies around the world to grow them online and over the phone and with retail, in a retail environment.
Okay.
So I came back and did that. I go to Cardiff tomorrow and do the thing with Lord Sugar.
Okay.
And so we'll see how
You hung out with him before?
We'll see how we get along.
Okay, I heard he can be kind of ornery.
Yeah, he looks like he is a grouchy old bastard, and so maybe we'll get along perfectly.
Hey, you might.
And then I know he's got a lot more money than I do, or he's got a lot more property than I do. But it can't be bad to be in good company like that.
True.
And then we're going to go to Scotland and do 2 more days there.
Okay, in Glasgow.
Yeah,
Okay. What do you think we lack in the UK here? You must see it from a mile away. You guys need more blah, blah, blah. What is it?
Yeah, so it's interesting. First of all, Elena and I were talking about it on the way over here. Number one is we love your accents. And then Elena's like, do you notice that they never compliment our accents? And I said, wow, that's a good point. Because we're always saying, oh, I love the way you talk. And we want to sound like you, right? But we never hear you guys say, oh, I really love your accent. So I don't know what we sound like to the English.
Yeah.
Side note.
Okay. I think they have a strange relationship with America. They love us and they hate us over here.
Oh, yeah. So I think the thing that I notice first when I come here every time is that it's easier to talk about money with English.
Okay.
That there seems to be a more awareness over Americans actually about that money's tied to freedom, and that in America there seems to be a sense of, but I'm already free, because isn't that in the anthem?
Right. Yeah.
Land of the free, home of the brave. Americans are a bit, I think, naive, thinking that America is the freest country. I know I'm gonna get hate from my American friends because they're like, they're so conditioned to believe that America is the freest country, the best educated, the richest, and the bravest. And so when I come here, I'm like, these people here want to talk about money. We spent 4 hours the other day just educating people about money, how it's changing, how to use money, how we've been tricked around money. And so that was very refreshing to be here and see how interested people were about changing what they know about money or don't know.
Okay. I would have thought the opposite. I would have thought
No, I was totally
land of the free, home of the brave, land of opportunity, the American dream. I figured the Yanks would have been okay to be fixated in talking about
the
money.
people here seem more hungry than the Americans.
Okay. All right. Interesting.
Like
Because-
after 4 hours here, I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna come back here a bunch.
Okay.
I'm gonna do a lot of business here.
Okay. And how do they react to you?
They love me, So that was the other thing. The other thing that I observed that they need here though is people need to be taught how to properly market and promote. You and I were talking before we started here, right? You're missing on the promotion thing and the marketing thing, and that's tied to money, right? Because I'm like, if I'm not willing to spend money, if all I'm doing is saving all my money and I'm not willing to use money, right? The conditioning around the house here is even more severe than the U.S.
Okay, and explain that.
To buy a house.
To buy a house. So
it's
an important
Mark
thing.
Wright, The Apprentice.
Yeah, I've had one.
First season told me, he's like, hey, don't, you know, you're here 2 days, maybe save the house thing for the second day. Well, of course, first 20 minutes, I'm like, you guys buying houses is dumb. You shouldn't put money in a house. You should put money in your brand. You should put money in the marketing. You should promote yourself, not put money in where you and the kids live.
Right. Why is that a mistake?
Because it's dead money. I mean, it can't, a house can't make you money. A house does not make you money. The only reason people think a house makes them money is they're comparing it to, if I rent, that costs me money. But, you know, if you want to go to a hospital, if you need to go to a hospital, you don't buy the hospital. You rent a bed to get out of there as fast as you can. If you go on a trip, you go to America and you want to go to Disneyland, you don't buy the hotel, you rent a room. And nobody thinks poorly of that. They're like, yeah, I'm gonna go there, use the place and get out. That's what you should be doing with your living. Find a place where you can rent, pay rent monthly. Don't own the house. And take all the money that you would have put in that house purchase, down payment, extra money, fixing it up. Use all that money to improve your business.
Right, and yourself.
And yourself so that you can get more money. Right? So I see so many people here like, I'm gonna invest 300,000 pounds in a house to hopefully make $30,000, 30,000 pounds.
Right.
I'm gonna buy it for 300, maybe I'll sell it for 600,000. I'll double my money.
After 10, 20 years or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Fixed in one place, by the way, where no money comes to you. Money does not go to homes.
Right, and that's a big thing on your career is moving locations.
Yeah, I've moved 5 or 6 times. I can move another 4 or 5 times.
Because people who stay in the same place get too comfortable.
If you study wealthy people, they're mercurial. They're moving, they're mobile. They're not talking, Warren Buffett and Bill Gates do not talk about the home they live in. They talk about the places they're going to. They go meet money, they go meet wealth, they go meet connections. And those guys, even at the top of the food chain, at the very top of the food chain. See, my dad believed in buying a house. Okay, Warren Buffett does not. My dad's my dad. Grateful he did his thing so that I could be born, right? But if I'm gonna study one of those two guys, I'm studying Warren Buffett.
Right. Yeah. You know, I was a couple weeks ago, I went out to Arizona and hung out with, Robert Kiyosaki. And he says the same thing. A home is a liability, your own home. It's not an asset.
Total liability.
And he said, the rich dad, poor dad way of thinking. Exactly. And it's like one way is kind of this brainwashed way of thinking. And the other way is this kind of enlightened way of thinking. Like you're saying, don't invest in the house. Think about the taxes.
Look, and even it's not, the enlightened thing is an idea, but the reality is banks are great promoters. And bankers years ago had all this money. They print money. Banks are capitalists. They're not entrepreneurs. There is no product to sell. I don't get a product. So what happens with the banker is the banker's like, hey, we have all this money. We need to get the money to people. And they'll pay us to let them have money. But the problem is they didn't have a product. So they sit down in a boardroom with some bourbon and they're like, what idea can we come up with? We need a promotional guy. We need a marketing guy to come in. Okay, and they're like, how do we get people to actually borrow money from us? Oh, you guys need a product. So they said, why don't we get them, what would be the ideal product? The ideal product would be, Charlie would give me money for a product that he would stay in for a long period of time. That would be ideal. 2, there would be some idea that one day he could profit from it. 3, he would fix in it the location and not move. So he'd have to pay us for 30 years. That would be a nice period of time. What could that be? A place to live. That's not water, it's not food. That you do that every day. A place to live would be something substantial enough. It'd be a big purchase, 200,000 or 300,000 pounds or $200,000 or $300,000, and we could lend somebody money. By the way, there would be collateral of that property. This would be a good deal. Yeah. We should call it a house. We'll call it a place to live. Everybody deserves a place to live. And another guy's having another sip and he's like, no. It's a dream. This is the dream. In America, it's the American dream. Yeah. Okay, over here, it's probably everyone deserves a place to live. And other people say, oh, this is a way to make money. It's not a way to make money. It's a way to bank to make money. Banks have made more money off of homes than anybody in the game.
When was this cooked up? Like in the 20s and 30s and 40s? Or?
It was, I don't know exactly when the date was. I think it's probably somewhere 40s or 50s, and it was people coming in America. It was World War II was ending. And
Baby boomers.
Yeah.
And disinvestment and let's get people to buy houses.
They've done it with schools, higher education.
Yeah.
Notice the terminology too. Higher education.
It's great marketing.
$1.3 trillion in debt just in the U.S. on higher education that I have never been asked about. I have the higher education, and I've never been asked about it in a deal. Okay, I'm buying $500 million worth of deals right now, and I'm gonna have $270 million worth of debt on them, and nobody's asked me about my higher education.
Right, another
when
dream.
I'm signing the documents.
Do you think people should go to university? Will your daughters go to university?
My daughters would have I will pay for 3 or 4 universities, names, the top.
Okay.
So whatever those top 3 or 4 are at the time, I'll give them that choice. You can go to these 3 or 4, and then I will have a little footnote to it. Don't worry about what you learn there. Only go there to meet people.
Okay, because it is worth it for that.
I want to know where the Obamas are going.
Okay.
Where the Bushes are going. Where the Charleses are going. I want to know where the Blackstones are sending their kids or their grandkids. And that's the only place I would pay for my kids to go to school.
But most of America and the world shouldn't pay for that education.
Absolutely not.
Okay, and the same with they shouldn't buy a house.
Absolutely shouldn't buy a house.
Okay.
No, nobody should buy a house. The super rich shouldn't even buy houses.
Wow. And yet these things are in our DNA practically.
Buy a plane, man.
Well, let's talk about planes.
Buy a plane. Buy a jet that can get you to go places to meet people.
The jet's kind of the opposite of the house because you're constantly moving with that thing. In fact,
Yeah.
if you're not moving with that thing, it's burning a hole in your pocket on the runway. So you probably are traveling more with the G550.
Yeah.
With the other
Well,
plane.
we bought since I left here. A lot's changed since I
I know. Tell
left
me,
here. By
what's
the way,
happened in
I
6
think
months?
I owe you a bunch of money. I've written a book. I mean, we're over $1 billion worth of real estate now. I think I was at 600,000 or 700,000 when I was 600 or 700 million when I was here.
Okay.
Real estate's exploded. Cardone Capital has raised over $100 million since I left here.
Wow.
So a lot of stuff has happened. We got rid of the old plane, bought a new plane.
Tell me about that.
Gulfstream 550.
Why the G550?
Well, it was the end of the year. It was December the 10th. And my accountant called me and said, hey man, you got a big tax problem this year.
Because you made too much money.
Yeah. I didn't make enough money.
Okay, all right.
And he says, you got a big tax problem. I said, what can we do about it? He's like, there's nothing we can do about it. I said, hey, look, there's always something you can do about something. And I hung up on it. And I called Sherry, my COO, and I said, look, this guy said there's nothing we can do about it. We owe X. And she's like, oh my God, I can't believe that. I said, well, we have the money. It's not a problem. I said, so look, we can give the money away and not pay the IRS. We could spend the money on equipment, material. Like I could prepay a bunch of expenses. I could prepay office I'm a very creative person when it comes to not paying taxes. I do not want to pay taxes this year.
Right, who does?
Nobody does, but most people don't admit this.
Right, and most people pay too much taxes. It's
Yeah.
the single biggest expense, and people don't even know it.
Exactly.
Right.
And most people don't have enough surplus money to play the tax game the way it's built.
Right, by having their own companies and...
Companies, LLCs,
Right.
Or I'm like, let me check something out. So I went and did some research on buying a jet. If I buy a jet, that jet's $50 million. In America, I can write off the entire $50 million that month. So I called Gulfstream up. I said, hey, you guys have a Gulfstream 550 or a 650 for sale. I'm interested in a jet. I got to take delivery by the end of the year. And they're like, we don't keep jets around. We're everything we have, we can't deliver a plane to you for 2 years. I said, okay, I hung up. I knew Gulfstream was what I wanted to buy. Called my accounting department. I said, send Gulfstream a check for X. And called the guy back. I said, hey, Rick, I know you guys said you don't have a plane available, but I want you to call your accounting department. I sent a little gift to you. Call me back when you get the gift, right? Calls me back. He's like, fuck, I've been doing this for 30 years. Nobody's ever done that. Coca-Cola, General Electric, no company. And you're just a guy, right? He's like, nobody's ever sent me a check, prepaid for a plane. He said, I'll get busy finding you a plane. 14 days later, we took delivery of a plane. I flew it 2 hours. That's all I'm required to do by the IRS code. I had to take one flight in it, give it back to them. They kept it for another 6 months to demo their clients in. And so we have a Gulfstream 550, 14 hours, any direction without stopping. I can go from London all the way to Los Angeles, nonstop.
Which fits in with this global strategy of yours.
Yeah, exactly.
That I want to talk about. Now, spending $50 million on a plane,
Yeah.
I reckon it costs you under $2 million to keep that thing in
Costs
the air
about $3 million to keep it.
every year.
Yeah.
With
Now, so, and by the way, I'm I'm not bragging when I say I'm doing this. Hopefully people find this inspirational and they don't think that I'm just an arrogant, cocky, listen to him bragging about his jet. I'm just telling you, like it is smarter. Getting rid of that much money is something, you don't get that much money by being stupid with money. So I'm sitting here saying, do I do this or do I do the jet? It's not like I was, like I'm thoughtful with it when it comes to money. Do I put the $50 million in apartments, which is my favorite investment, or do I buy the jet? Well, my decision, or do I just keep the 50? And my decision to get rid of 50, to own the jet, is that it can connect me with the world. Right. It can help me meet people. The old Grant would not have done this.
old, how old? 2 years, 3 years, 5 years?
The
2008
8 years ago. 8 or 9 years ago.
Okay. Why? Conservative.
Because I wasn't thinking big enough. I was thinking that if I save my money, that if I'm just save the pennies, save the money, pay attention to the money, then clip the coupons, do everything on the cheap, right? Buy everything on sale, buy low and sell high. All that old adage of our parents.
Scarcity mentality.
Totally.
Okay.
If I do that, then I'll be better off. And the reality is, if you study the wealthiest, I don't mean Bill Gates and Warren Buffett. I mean, if you study Goldman Sachs, that's where the real wealth is.
Okay.
Study the wealthiest.
Explain that. Why isn't it Gates and Buffett?
Because they're only worth 80 billion.
Okay.
Okay. Goldman Sachs will destroy 80 million in an hour.
As far as their income, their revenues,
you're talking about Vanguard controls $5 trillion of ETFs. That's money. There's endless amounts of money. Like, I don't know what the Queen controls, but it's freaking massive.
Massive.
Or the Putin money. You're not talking about all that dark money.
Yeah.
All the black in the shadows money. So there's so much money on this planet. You got to look at how does Coca-Cola make a decision about 3 or 4 or 5 jets? Because they want to move their executives around the world to make sure they have their products in the front of the shelves. So that's how I made a decision to do this. Not based on what 98% of the people think, but what 1 or 2% of the population thinks.
By talking to guys who own jets, and they say, Grant, best decision I ever made.
Or like I asked my accountant, he says, don't do it, doesn't work. I asked my lawyer, don't do it, it's a liability. I asked a couple of rich people, don't do it, it doesn't make sense. I asked a billionaire, he's like, yeah, you should definitely do it. And I said, huh? He's like, you should definitely do it. You have clients all over the world. You want to reach 7 billion people. Money is useless. I said, huh? He's like, money is useless until it is used. Right? You don't need money, dude. You need people. He's like, people have the next money you want.
Right.
And I was like, this was mind-boggling for me. Like it just, you see, when truth hits me, I don't fight it. Like I'm just like, okay, that's real for me. That's real for me. Go with it. Lean into it now. At 60 years old, you start saying, hey, I'm running out of time here. I got to start making decisions quicker. So if I've been living 50 years, grinding, working, struggling, saving, and that didn't get me where I wanted to be. By the way, it didn't. Right? I don't want money, I want freedom.
Okay.
And the plane buys me freedom. When we land in an airport now, everybody wants to know whose jet is that, dude? Like, it is a flying promotional. Now anybody listening right now is like, I can't go buy a jet. Yeah, but you don't have to buy a house either.
Right.
And you're never going to get a jet if you keep putting your money in things where money don't go.
Right. So it's the thinking behind the jet that people should see. They should see that, take that capital, put it to work by getting you in touch with more strangers, because strangers have your money.
Yeah, exactly. Like strangers. And Jared, who works for me, he's 35 years old. He's like, we're not going to, when we don't go through commercial airports anymore, I don't fly into London Heathrow. We're not going to meet managers and we're not going to meet VPs. I said, no, we're not. We're going to meet owners that have jets. Okay, we're going to meet the owners and they're going to want to know, who's the dude? You can't fake a jet. You can't fake a jet. Like, you cannot fake a $50 million purchase. Or any, and again, I'm not trying to impress people by that. I'm just saying that is a symbol, and London's big on symbols.
Explain that. What have you seen that are symbols?
Well, symbols are very important. Castles.
Yeah.
They're important. They're validation. We're on a planet that is full of fakeness.
Right.
So
with social media or with everything?
Social media,
Makes it
cars.
Worse. Right.
You can fake a Rolls. You can't fake a castle. There's power there.
Yeah.
Okay. The bigger the castle, the more power was accumulated over periods of time. Whether they stole it, earned it. Even if you stole it, you still got to keep it. Keeping something is, most people can't keep it. Almost everybody can get it. Most people cannot keep it. And almost no one can multiply it.
Okay.
So the game is, how do I get it? How do I keep it? How do I fortify it? How do I support it? Elena wrote a book, How to Build an Empire. And there's a lot about how do you keep making this thing bigger and bigger and protecting it. Again, a lot of people can get it, but can you keep it? And then can you make it bigger? That means people. I need good people. I need more ideas. I need more production. I need to not get complacent. So that's who I study today. I study people that are multiplying what they've already created.
Okay.
Not talking about what they did and now they're not doing it anymore.
Putting wood on the fire, you say in your books.
Add wood, man.
Add wood to that fire. And this is just another way of doing that.
Yeah.
Biggest realization since having this jet, something that you didn't expect, or maybe you did expect, that you feel after you having it for a few months?
Biggest realization after having the jet. I mean, it is without a doubt the number one thing that when I get on it, I'm impressed every time. I mean, I'm impressed with myself. I'm like, God damn, you did this. And so that's a cool deal. Like most of my life, as you know, has been lots of losses, the drug addiction, the years. When you have an addiction, it's not a moment.
Yeah.
Addictions don't happen in a weekend. I'm not talking about doing something dumb over the weekend. I'm talking addictions come for long, long, long periods of time.
Yeah, and they grind you down for long periods of time.
And even when you get over them, there's the residual, the engramic residual that you were a drug addict, or that you are a drug addict, or that you made all these mistakes and it did this, and you tried to quit and couldn't, and this sense of powerlessness and unmanageability and destructiveness and poor decision making. So I'm at a point in my life right now, when I get on that jet, I'm like, dude, you did this, like this is real. And it goes back to that castle mentality. It goes back to like, it's not like getting in a Rolls. I can lease a Rolls, give it back in 2 years, make the payments. This piece of equipment that I own and have my name on, you can't put a name on a charter. The NetJets doesn't let you put your name on the tail. We left Miami. I said, how much fuel did we put on this thing? 35,000 pounds of fuel. 17,000 pounds in each wing. It filters it so that it's always balanced the entire flight. We get on the plane, my 2 kids are there, the nanny's there, Elena's there. Ryan Secco is no longer the captain. Okay, I replaced him. I have him flying with me. And we got on the plane, went to sleep at 10 o'clock at night, woke up literally when we landed, I woke up. That was cool, dude. I was with my kids the whole time.
Yeah.
So it's like, wow, man, your life's working, dude. You turned your life around. You started making money. I had nothing. You made your first dollar, and then you made your second dollar. I remember making my first, when I went from $3,000 to $4,000 a month. That $1,000 increase was the biggest money I ever made in my whole life. Still the most important money I've ever made. I wish I still had that $1,000.
Okay.
And then I've done this thing coming from nothing to where I'm at, and it's to me, it's not just about me either. It's a real sign of what people can do. Like, it's so inspirational to me.
Right. And the jet you can't fake. The reaction to the jet has been strong.
Yeah.
It's got the 10Xs, got the cameras everywhere.
And
it's this symbol, and we shouldn't lower the importance of a symbol, because you can't fake that these days in social media.
You can't. Everybody should look for people that have accumulated these kinds of things.
Right.
No, that's not what we're told in society. These are the people. I'm not saying people should study me, but this is who people should study. People that have gone out Started with a little bit or nothing, had an idea, accumulated something, and then lived it out for 35 years. I'm gonna have Steve Harvey, the comedian and the TV superstar, at my 10X Growth Conference. He's like, why do you want me there? I'm like, 30 or 40 years, man. You have continued to rebrand yourself to be relevant. I want to know Steve Harvey. I want Steve Harvey to be in front of my audience. I admire that.
Right.
You know, Warren Buffett. I admire Warren because of his longevity. I want to study everything Warren's done since he was a young man.
Okay. You got the G550 now.
Yeah.
You want to hit 7 billion people, maybe 8 in a little bit. What does that look like? What are those 10 countries on your radar? And does having the jet make you more mobile by definition? Or are you thinking, man, it's international, I got to get out there and get to these countries?
I have that thing weighs 100,000 pounds. I'm committed to it. It's paid for. It sits out there and just goes down in value every day. Every day it's calling me, come on, let's go. Come use me and put me to work, right? It's begging me to take it someplace. So, you know, it is a liability if it's not used. Right. It must be used. It is begging me to be used.
Symbolizes a human life a little bit. Right?
Totally. It's like having 100 employees in my office.
Right. You better get them to do something. And they're looking at you the whole time. So.
And their payroll.
Yeah.
Right? And they're like, hey, I'm here. I need leadership. When you have 100, this is the problem with being the solopreneur. When you have no one working and no office, the solopreneur does not have the calling. It does not have the leverage of 100 voices saying, come lead me. I need your attention. Don't forget me. Same thing with the office. That's why the office, people need anchors. Right. I need to, you know, as an executive of a company, I have to be a post. I need to be a post. There has to be a post. There has to be a leader and a particle. Me flying around the world is more of a particle. My office back in Miami is a post. A COO there is a post. Jared, the vice president, post. I'm a particle. I'm moving out to promote to the world, right? So that I can meet these people and become real to them.
Okay. UK is obviously on your list. Other countries. I know you went to Mexico already.
It's all the power. It's all the power.
Okay.
It's all the power hubs, man.
Okay.
To answer your question, what would those be? Germany.
Yeah.
I mean, I got 3 major cities in Germany that I got to go to.
Okay. China, we seen.
China.
Okay.
Israel. Okay. I would love to go to Iraq and Iran. I got an offer to go to Beirut. My office said, you can't go to Beirut. I said, dude, I'm going to Beirut. Oh, it's too dangerous in Beirut. So that's dumb. It's all media bullshit, right? So I'll go anywhere. I want to go to Istanbul, you know, one of the heaviest traveled. Like, I want to go anywhere there's people. Religion doesn't matter to me. Race doesn't matter to me. Age doesn't matter to me. I mean, it does matter to me, but it's not a reason for me not to go. Even issues in those countries aren't an issue for me to go.
Okay.
I want to go where people are because people are basically good.
And what do these 7 billion people, what do their lives look like when they know who you are? Is it because, are they investing with you? Are they thinking about your mentality? Are they changing their ways?
Yeah. I mean, wherever they are, where they are, right? If I meet somebody that's 23-year-old Grant and he's all screwed up, well, maybe he'll be inspired and quit using drugs. Or maybe I meet 28-year-old banking guy that is making $1 million a year, and he wakes up to saying, why am I doing this job making $1 million a year when I could be making $1 million a month? And maybe I wake him up, and maybe he becomes an investor with me at Cardone Capital, or maybe he's like, I'm throwing away this job with JP Morgan and I'm gonna go run Cardone Capital and we're gonna build a $20 billion business together. So it's that whole thing. Like, I don't wanna just sell people stuff anymore. I don't mind selling people stuff, but the ultimate game for me is I want to help people that don't have any money. I have products for people that don't have anything. I remember when I had nothing. If I can help somebody that has nothing get out of that and have something, then I did something. If I could then take him as he evolves, as we all evolve, by the way, if I can take him that has now a little something and show him how to get more and why it's good to get more, that would be good. As he evolves again, going from more to, hey, how could I accumulate stuff without working all the time? I mean, I'd love to turn somebody that's not a consumer, can't buy from me, give them something, to somebody that can buy something from me, to then somebody that can actually invest money with me and we become partners. That would be the perfect evolution. Service at the low end, whether it's getting them to an NA meeting or an AA meeting or getting them off of drugs or to turn him into an investor and a partner in my business. That would be the ideal scene.
So this is a spiritual crusade. This isn't just about money.
Yeah, I mean, look, I can't spend the money I have now, right? I mean, so, you know, money, you can do a little experiment with money. Anybody can do this just to find out, you know, if you just take money. I love your money over here,
Like
man.
it,
The money's
kind of
pretty.
plastic.
Your money's much
different
prettier
colors,
here.
different sizes.
It's got see, again, symbols, right? It's got little shiny stuff on it, right?
Yeah, those are
But
euros.
If you take this money, and you can take any amount you want to take, and you just set it right here, find some place in your house to set it. Just set it there as long as you want it, see if it does anything. Okay? It's not going to do anything.
Right.
Money is useless until it is used. I did not know this. I thought money was valuable. I was taught that money was security. That's why I started a retirement account. I had a retirement account when I was 28 years old. I invested money in a 401k. That's a terminology, as you know, that it says I can get this money when I'm 65 or something. Every year I put that money in that retirement account because I thought that money, because I was taught that money was security. Money has never made me more secure. It doesn't, you know, I end up forgetting it's even over there. I go years without remembering, oh, I got that money over there. You know, I wasn't even thinking about it. I don't know what it's invested in. Put it in mutual funds. I don't know what the mutual funds are. I have no passion or connection to any of the companies. Like Coca-Cola is a terrible product. Come on, let's face it, right? I mean, most of the companies don't like, I don't have any connection with or charitable, like I'm changing the world here. It was just about money. It's like this money just sits here. What is it? It's just pieces of paper. Somebody decided on the colors, the values. Somebody put a little stamp on it. A lot of work went into like making me believe this is somehow valuable. And today I just know that like, man, until this starts moving around, it's not valuable. People are way more valuable.
Right. And yes, and yet it tricks most of the masses into thinking.
It tricked me for years.
Right. They got to hold it in the account, and it's a security, and let's worry about the rainy day, and
it
kind
exactly
of keeps this whole class of population down.
Yeah, save the money, save the pennies. You know, now I'm like, I don't want to save it. I want to use it.
Right.
You know, so like if you asked me today, hey, would you rather have $1 billion? It's a great question for your guest too. $1 billion, you have 30 seconds to make a decision, or 1 billion friends. Which would you take? What would you take?
Well, obviously, I guess 1 billion friends.
No, I mean, really, I got a billion pounds, dude. I have it right in front of me right now. And I also have this list of 1 billion friends.
God, friends.
And these are good friends, dude.
Okay.
These are good friends that will do, they will help you.
Okay.
Which would you take?
Well, okay, I guess I'm going to take
There's
the
$1 billion
friends.
right here.
I know. But I've been around for a little while, so I know. But me from 10 years ago would have taken the pounds.
Yeah.
Maybe even 5 years ago. But I see what you're saying, because the other one represents so much more potential.
Yeah.
To live your life as well, and to create great things.
Yeah.
And to create wealth.
Well, and it just shows you how little people have really thought about money, right? The instant thing is £1 billion. That's a lot of money. I mean, people spend money. $80 billion a year is spent in America on lottery tickets. Nobody spends anything on friends, right? $80 billion. That's more money than Starbucks, Burger King, Taco Bell, and Kentucky Fried Chicken combined.
What does that
lottery tickets.
What does that tell you?
I'm trying to win money.
Okay.
Right? Rather than, why do I learn a skill? Why do I promote myself? People spend almost nothing to promote themselves. And if I don't promote myself, I can't get money anyway. So, you know, it's crazy, man. Like we're taught not to even promote ourselves. And promote. That, like those three things at my office, first thing I do every day, I go in my office. What are we promoting today? You remember Bob Hope?
Yeah.
There was a beautiful documentary on Bob Hope.
Okay.
And he said, Bob Hope said, in his own voice, by the way, the first thing he woke up every morning and said to himself is, what can I do to promote Bob Hope today? Mm-hmm. He was worth $800 million when he died.
Wow.
And that was years and years ago, when actors had never, ever really created wealth.
Right. You said money follows attention.
Yeah.
And most people want to fly under the radar.
Yeah.
I think the Brits are actually worse than Americans when it comes to flying under the radar. But, you know, I don't know about that. But you're talking about that. Nobody wants to promote themselves. Why?
Because, you know, we're told not to, right? Don't toot your own horn. Be seen and not heard. Don't get so much attention. We're told this as little kids. Women have it worse than men.
Right.
Don't show off. Don't be a braggart. Don't talk about yourself. Fly under the radar. If you get too big, you're going to get attacked. Nobody's telling us, get so big that no attack can bother you.
Right.
When were you taught that lesson?
Right. So you're teaching people by doing that stuff.
Yeah, and then the other thing is that we watch people that get big and then go undercover. And we say, well, look at Mr. Rich Guy. He doesn't show off. I hear this all the time. Real wealth does not talk about their wealth. Wealthy people that own planes don't show people that they own a plane.
Right.
But what happens is when wealthy people get wealthy, they are in a position now to say, shh, they've created it already. Doesn't make it right.
Right. You think that's wrong. You think that...
No, I think it's a choice, right?
Right.
My choice is, hey, I got wealthy. Here, look at me now. Look at me, judge me, learn from me, do whatever you want with me. But I'm not going to close the curtains just because I got there.
Right.
Because when I was 16 years old, I wanted somebody to show me that had made it, how they made it. And I spent years like waiting for somebody to help me. I went to college because I thought some guy, I always thought it was going to be a man, was going to teach me how to be successful because my dad died. So from 10 to 16, I kept waiting for uncle. From 16 to 25, I looked for any man that was older than me. I thought he was going to be the guy to show me. The neighbor, the doctor that got rich, and the guy on my left side the neighbor that got rich, that knew my dad, and we had to sell the house and leave. I thought they were going to help me. They didn't. Because what happened was once they got a little money, they just went kind of quiet.
Right.
And said, hey, don't ask me for anything. I'm not telling anybody what I own, what I've done. If I do, they're going to want something from me. And I've Elena and I have elected to be open. We're like, no, we're going to be transparent all the way up, no matter where we're at. Maybe we fall from graces. And then you'll get to see that too. Because at the end of the day, I don't want money. I mean, I do want money. I want freedom. But really what I want is I want to help people. I've always wanted to help people. I've always wanted people to help me.
You always wanted to help people?
Well, I really wanted people to help me.
Okay.
But I remember like my twin brother had a bone disease when he was 6. And it really pulled at me because I didn't want my brother to have the bone disease. So his left arm went out. He had to have a surgery. I got stronger than him. I got faster than him. I didn't have that issue to deal with. It pulled him back a second, right? So I wanted to help him. I think everybody wants to help other people. More than anything else, I think people want to help one another.
Right.
And we don't get enough examples of that.
Do you want to live a legacy, or do you just want to make this world a better place?
Oh, no, I don't want to. I mean, I'm not thinking about making the world a better place.
But you're trying to help people.
Yeah, but I'm thinking about what did I do while I was here? I don't really think about making things better.
Okay. But you want to empower people at the same time.
See, I shouldn't even say that I shouldn't even answer that question the way I just did. I don't want to make the world a better place. I do want to make the world a better place, but that's not what I'm thinking of every day. I am definitely thinking about my legacy now.
Okay.
I'm thinking about what will people say about me in the year 2080 when I won't be here.
Okay.
In this physical, mock-up. So, will they even say anything? It's kind of a selfish, egotistical, and philanthropic. Like I think that is a bigger contribution than whether or not I picked up the litter.
Right. You always said people aren't going to remember you by the money. They're going to remember you by the things you did.
No, nobody ever says, oh, he was, They remember the contribution. Mother Teresa. I mean, when I say charitable, every time I say the word charitable, I think of her.
Okay.
Every time I think about helping people, I think, oh, wow, man, that was an awesome lady. I think. Then other people tell me, oh, no, she was this and that and that. I don't know. I just know this. I have her associated with charitable. I have her associated with being interested in helping people. And by the way, if her and her organizations had more money, she could have helped more people.